I'm on Lease TV. Lease TV. I'm here with Gary Rappaport, and I've read Gary's book. How you doing, Gary?
Fine, thank you.
Again.
Thank you.
And what's the name of your book again, Gary? Tell us the name of your book.
It's Investing in Retail Properties.
Okay.
How does one share cash flow and appreciation with one's investors?
I read the book. It's really interesting about syndication. Now, you just recently updated the book. Is that correct?
Yes, I just have written the third edition of the book. It's coming out September 21st, 2023, and I'm very excited about it.
What type of deals are you buying into with your syndications? And what type of entity do you set up when you're buying these various properties?
Well, I do the same thing again and again. It makes the safety of it much easier and much better. I buy basically grocery anchored shopping centers in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. Each center is in a separate LLC. I put debt on and I raise equity from friends and family.
So are these limited partnerships or general partnerships?
No, they're limited partnerships. The investor puts in money and I am the general partner.
You're the general partner. You're buying the Kroger stores. You like Sprouts or the grocery is pretty much an essential tenant, right?
Well, it has been. I've been doing this for over 40 years and we're very fortunate in Washington, D.C. We have about 8 or 9 different grocery stores all looking for space. Wegmans, Harris Teeter, Safeway, Giant, Aldi, Lidl, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's. It's a great business to be in a Washington, D.C. marketplace.
Do you buy into shorter lease deals where you have shorter leases and you try to get an extension, or are you trying to buy new leases with long-term leases, or are they shopping centers where you have a variety of different tenants in an anchor?
I'm buying shopping centers. I'm not buying triple net.
So you're buying shopping centers, value-add shopping centers.
Well, they might have 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 tenants. Some of them might be considered value-add. Some might be considered core, very stable. Each one's different. Each one is separate.
And when you go in and you're buying these, what's your typical debt sources? Banks, CMBS lenders, life companies? What's your atypical? All of
those. We do both. We do banks, insurance companies, and CMBS loans. They're generally around 65%. What's most important is I do not buy unless I have a 10-year fixed rate loan on the property, because I balance the risk with my expertise in creating more cash flow, not something I can't control like interest rates.
So let me ask you a question, and this is kind of a negative question. I try to stay positive, but we do have inflation at 6% right now, and a lot of the leases aren't increasing that fast, right, per year, the rent. So if we have a lot of inflation and longer term rates jump within 10 years, and now your rent, if you don't have a lot of rental increases, but your mortgage payment goes up, what if you're not debt coveraging at the 10th year? Then what?
Yeah. Well, first of all, we look at every property, every lease term. When it's coming up, we make an assumption on every lease. Then we look at the overall term, but if we're putting on 10-year fixed rate financing and we believe that we can increase cash flow and appreciation and we're amortizing that loan, then we believe the risk 10 years from now on an acquisition is a risk worth taking.
Do you look at properties with like a story? Because basically in retail, it all comes down to the store sales, right? If the store sales are going up, the tenant is going to base their rent off of rent to sales. So if the store is doing awesome, let's say a Coliseum comes in, a school, whatever, and the store sales go ballistic, you're going to be able to charge more rent, and you're going to have a better position of renewing that lease, right?
That's the business I'm in. I mean, I track sales, but I balance risk. I'm in one marketplace, in one sector of real estate, doing the same thing again and again and again. And so I feel very comfortable buying a center in the Washington area. I know the road networks. I know where the growth is. I feel comfortable based on the fact, is it on the going home side of the road? Is it a perpendicular or parallel to the road? What's the accessibility? What's the visibility? That's the expertise that I've gained over a lifetime, and that's what I think my investors believe in when they believe in investing.
Gary's been doing this a long time. I've been coming to ICSC just as a young man since '98, and I've seen him every year at his booth. So I know he's telling the truth. I'm a lot younger than he is. But he knows his stuff. What's your average investment
Well, you know, my investor
in
shares.
return? That's what everybody wants to know,
Well,
right?
my average investment share is $250,000.
Okay.
They're all accredited investors.
So
But
he only wants accredited investor.
Yes.
And always, consult your attorney, your CPA before doing any investments in any net lease or financing or going in with a guy like Gary. But go ahead, Gary.
But I will sell units down as low as a quarter share at 62.5. And because in the long run, I want them to feel comfortable with me and invest more in the next deal and the next deal. The returns are generally around 10-12% a year over a 10-year period of time.
It's really good.
And I
beats the bank.
For sure, and it has
the banks are higher now, 5%, but
yeah.
Still you're 600 basis points, 700 basis points
correct
over what
and
you
I'm
get
generally long term. I'm buying things for
now. How long do they have to lock up?
The partnership agreement states they have to be there as long as I. They cannot force. But you can't be in the business I'm in.
You got some golden handcuffs.
Well, you can't be in this business unless you say to anyone, when you want to sell, we will fairly find someone to buy your interest, we'll appraise it, and that's the reputation. If not, you can never raise money in the business I'm in.
Now, from a broker's standpoint, brokers, they're greedy people. I don't know if you knew that, but they're always thinking commissions. If a broker bought you people to go into your deals, do you ever pay commissions?
I have never paid
Never
a
done
commission.
it.
I'm grassroots.
How do we make money, right, guys?
I started raising investors in 1984. I've been doing it now for almost 40 years, and I have a group of people that continually ask if other people can get on the list.
Do you get? I know when I did a deal with the Rich Uncles REIT, they do the fractional interest, but I did $7 generals. And I had to arrange a non-recourse loan to an entity at like 50% loan to value. Okay, they wanted a 30-year AM or a IO deal, and the only way that the lender would do it is at 50% because it was an entity, not a warm body. Now, do you do the same thing? How do you structure the financing?
Well, it is an LLC, a limited liability corporation, and it does borrow the money. It is usually non-recourse, not always. Usually around 65% of the deal, 35% equity, but every deal is different. Some are value-added deals, and the risk is greater, and the return should be greater. Some are very stable core deals. My investors are generally investing for themselves, their retirement, their children. Right. This is not a 2 or 3 year deal in out. No, this is long term.
So now, can anybody invest at any time, or do you line the deal up and then bang, you get all the investments?
I only do about one deal a year.
About one deal a year.
So now, after 40 years, I have 40 shopping centers. But no, I have to send it out to every investor at the same time, and whoever answers first is the one that purchases.
So the timing is huge on this. Do you get it under contract and then go get the buyers, or do you close on it and then go or get the partners? When do you get your partners?
I over time, right now, I get it under contract first.
So you get it. How long of the due diligence?
It's usually a 30-day due diligence and a 30-day settlement. Wow. So I have 60 days.
And you have all your partners lined up within that amount of time?
I talk to them all the time.
And who puts up the deposit?
I put up everything.
So you put up everything, and then they come in with you. And then at close of escrow on the settlement, does all the money from all the partners wired into escrow?
Yeah, they're into escrow, and then they go into closing.
And what if a guy in a 1031 exchange? He won't
No, there's
qualify.
no 1031.
Strictly investment here, no
That's right.
1031 exchanges.
No.
And the one thing we talked about is the depreciation. You do accelerated depreciation, which is great if the guy he can take some of those passive losses against passive income, right?
They can take it against other properties that they have passive income on.
Right.
If not, they use it on this property, and it generally shelters the tax, defers that tax for about 5 or 6 years. So if I can give them an 8% return tax deferred, then that's a very good deal for someone to purchase. And then eventually at sale, they'll be taxed on that as a capital gains.
What would you say your target market for investments? Who's your Is it family offices? What kind of
there's
people?
no family offices either.
No
They're
family
all
office.
friends. It's been built up on a grassroots approach
family and friends
over 40 years.
situation.
No family,
Just
only friends.
friends.
Over 40 years.
Well, there you go. So, Gary, what's your objective of ICSC this year?
Well,
2022.
I love ICSC, of course.
It's a lot of fun,
and
right?
the networking, the relationships one builds is important. It's with bankers, it's with retailers, developers. We learn from each other. I've been coming for over 40 years. and it's been a tremendous benefit for me in my career.
So if anybody wants to contact you, Gary, regarding investing, they want to maybe become one of your friends. I don't know if you do that, but
well,
get your family and friends. How do they call you? How do they get the book?
If they, well, there's two
what's
things.
What's your website?
The website is rappaportco.com.
Okay.
And the other website is GaryRappaport.com.
So GaryRappaport.com.
And that is to order the book. And the Rappaport Co. is if you want to become an investor.
Would you mind if they call you directly?
They can always call me. They can
what
send
number
me
should they call you at?
It's 571-382-1200.
1200. Thank you so much, Gary.
You're welcome.
And congratulations, Gary, speaking here at ICSC today. And it's been a real pleasure.
I'm on Net Lease TV.